Hello again, my name's Gabe Zollner. You know, I posted MVI 4905, Bill O'Reilly, you are a pompous ass. One of my viewers wrote interesting comments. Actually, a number of them wrote interesting comments. This one here I want to turn into a video. This particular viewer has commented a number of times, and I've put them up on the web as well. He writes, "Hi Gabe, loved your comments on Bill O'Reilly. I 100% agree with you. I must have been watching at the same time you were because I got equally angry when he read the viewer's comments. I actually went as far as to turn the TV off as soon as he said that." You know what's interesting is I got so rattled I went ahead and made that video. My mother and I constantly espouse the same thoughts that just as you voiced about O'Reilly, that he's a pompous, smug prick. Ever notice that O'Reilly can't get a full week without reminding his guests and viewers that, quote, he went to Harvard, end of quote? As if that is somewhat circumstantial proof that he is intelligent by his association. But he did his undergraduate at BU, not necessarily the top of the ranks for Boston undergrads. O'Reilly is a total sellout, plain and simple, and like you said, someone else ghostwrites his books for him, and he just cashes the huge checks and reminds viewers how many weeks he's been a bestseller. Between you and me, he is always giving his books away, so his sales are inflated, partially by himself buying his own books in bulk. His book numbers are about as real as Obama's unemployment numbers. Fantasy creations. I have trouble watching the Mr. Know-It-All windbag, but he has successfully mother-henned the 8 o'clock slot forever, and Roger Ailes, the Fox News chief, has kept him there, and Mr. Windbag's 8 o'clock slot is followed by the empty fluff hour with Megyn Kelly, who just recently got shammed at the White House. Fox is not our friends. They simply pretend to be against Obama, but it's all just fluff and babble. The high-heeled shoes, just like the Republicans themselves, all bark, no bite. There are a million things that the usurper is doing that are illegal and treacherous. Makes Watergate look like nothing, and the real journalism does not exist anymore in the United States. Pathetically, we can largely thank George W. for the breakdown in journalism. It was under his watch that he allowed the mass conglomeration of media outlets to grow even larger. There used to be limits and restrictions on how many radios and TV stations affiliates one company could own and operate to prevent behemoth monopolies from doing what they're currently doing and controlling the airwaves. But W. Bush has such a low IQ that he allowed it. And it was the Bush family that sold out America's interest to the Saudis. The Bushes are not America's friends. The Bushes are like the Kennedys, just in it for themselves, and have repeatedly shown that they will sell their country out to the drop of a hat if it potentially furthers their own interests. Well, how do you argue with any of that? Yeah, it's truly amazing. You know, you've got people like Bill O'Reilly that have a fairly large following that hang off of every word that he says. And no one questions. Well, that's not true. Some of us question. The individual that wrote this comment to me questions. I obviously questioned. And so do many other based on the comments that I'm receiving. I'm just hoping that Americans wake up before it's too late. But based on the events that are unfolding in Washington, personally, I think it's too late. I hope you enjoyed my viewers' comments. I certainly enjoyed reading it. And if you enjoyed it as well, please pass it along to your like-minded friends. Thanks for watching.